Hi, my name is Rachel Gordon, and the speech I'm presenting to you today is called The Seams. Did you know that softball was invented by a man in 1887, on accident, to be considered a version of baseball that you could play indoors? It was invented by George Hancock, and it was amidst a game between Yale versus Harvard at the Farragut Boat Club. The whole idea of this speech is to inform people on the sport of softball and the history of it, which includes George Hancock and the Farragut Boat Club. I myself have played since I was 7 years old, and I've transitioned from slow pitch, which isn't a regular form of pitching, but just a toss instead of the full windup that you would see in a usual game, to fast pitch, which is the whole entire windup. Wow, I've performed in over 100 tournaments and showcases. Showcases involve tournaments that have scouts at them to recruit you for college. In this speech, the three main aspects of softball that I will be covering are the history for the sport, the rules that were created, and the basic plays in a game. Softball started at an early age and spread to become a major sport for many people. The history of softball. George Hancock was the creator of softball in 1887 while watching the Yale versus Harvard game with his friends. According to ThoughtCo.com, one of the Yale supporters threw a boxing glove at a Harvard alumnus in triumph. The Harvard supporter swung at the glove with a stick he happened to be holding at the time. The game was soon on, with participants using the glove for a ball and a broom handle for the bat. Throughout this time of the 1800s, there were many cleats made, many bats made, and many different gloves made. It all developed into the game we know now that is softball. While softball was being created, many rules were made to accompany the sport. The rules of softball include batting, base running, and the motions of the pitcher. According to uno.edu, the pitcher must have both feet on the pitcher's runner and can only take one step forward while pitching. This has to do with the pitcher, none of the other 8 players in the game. Base running includes after you have batted. Base running involves running from first to second to third, and in the event that you are out, it would involve running into the ball once it has been put in play, or running out of baseline, or being caught in a rundown, which involves the ball being thrown on either side of you while you're running from one base to the other and being tagged by the opposing player. The rules of batting involve striking out, walking, and hitting. Once you've hit the ball is in play and you may start running around the bases. However, if you don't hit the ball and you strike out, which is 3, then you have to go back to your dugout. After 3 strikeouts, the next person comes up to bat. Also, a walk involves being pitched 4 balls, which are balls that are not hittable according to the umpire, and the umpire has the only right to call these in a game. The rules of the game are important, but knowing what plays to make is equally so. The plays in the game are very situational. These include first and third plays, throwdowns, force plays, and tagouts. According to Creasy.com, there's a move for each one of the 9 players to make in the field, and they all involve moving towards the ball. The first and third plays include, as you would guess, a runner on first and a runner on third. Now, there are 3 different types of plays to make for this. One would include throwing back to the pitcher, which allows for the runner to move from first to second, and there are no other complications. Now, another play would be for the catcher to throw the ball to second base and try to catch the first base runner moving to second, and also the third base runner moving home. How you would go about that is, once you throw it from second base, you would throw it all the way back to home to try to get the girl that is advancing from third to make the run. Throwdowns involve somebody coming off the base and the catcher throwing the ball back. This involves stealing situations. Girls will come off the base and try to move on to the next one. However, if the catcher is quick enough, she can grab her. Now, there are new rules that have been made in softball. They've become very modernized, and throwdowns have also grown to include more options. This would include a throwdown from outfield. Now, an outfielder would catch the ball in the air, and a base runner is allowed to stay on the base, and once the ball is caught, they can move on towards the next base. However, the outfielder is supposed to throw the ball in, and if they can catch them before they get to the next base, then they're considered out with a tag. Now, the difference between these tag outs and the force outs would be actually tagging. A force out involves stepping on the base when the runners are advancing and trying to get to the next one, but a tag out is if there is no next play to be made and the runner is just advancing to advance. Usually this is caused by a coach, or it is caused by false starts or a hesitation when stealing. Now, softball, all in all, was the divergence and alteration of baseball. This is also true for football. Everything has caused softball to develop into the sport it is now. The history, plays, and rules of softball all contribute to the wonderful characteristics that accompany the sport and its long journey all the way from 1887. It's not for everybody, but it is an interesting sport to learn from and from about. Thank you.